and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you live from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. I hope everybody is having a great week so far. Welcome students. Hi Panchal Yash. Hi Hudarach. Shaima. Good to see many students. Welcome David. Welcome to our members. In this class, everyone, we are looking at IELTS speaking part 1, and I will tell you on how to work towards that band 9, having a super start to your IELTS speaking interview. While we wait for a few more of your classmates, this lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Check us out there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. That's generalieltshelp.com. On both of those websites, we have lots and lots of resources to help you improve your communication and your English speaking, including free speaking practice with other IELTS students. This is our academic website here at aehelp.com. You can just click that big red button to join the premium package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. We are British Council IELTS Registration Center and certified agents. Once you have a student account, you can log into your My Student account, and I will just quickly show you where you can practice your speaking, because today's class is a speaking class. So in your student account, you have the student partner speaking. You can click on that, and then you will have a chance to find other students that you can video chat with, audio chat with. You can send them a quick text to say, hello, I'd like to chat. There's Zafar, Darren, Stosia, Titiloy. They're all waiting for somebody to communicate with them. And of course, there are lots of IELTS speaking scripts and questions for you in here as well to use with your speaking partners. This is absolutely free for everybody, so I highly recommend using it. I'm just going to get out of here before somebody pings me and wants to have a conversation while I'm teaching this live class. Let me just close that up. There we go. Okay, and for the general IELTS, it's the same idea. It's the green background at gieltshelp.com. Again, click that big red button to join our premium package there, and you have the same speaking options. Welcome, Carolina, our moderator, as well to the class. Hi, Eugen. Thank you for those emojis. Simon is joining in from Nepal, and I'm sure we have lots of people from all over the world. It's fantastic to see all of you. All right. Definitely check us out on Instagram, IELTS_AEHelp and GIELTS Help. We have an amazing giveaway contest going there right now, so check that out. If you'd like to get a hold of me, if you have questions about our courses or the exam, shoot me an email, adrian@aehelp.com. I'm doing fantastic today, Eugene. Thank you for asking. It's bright and early. 7 a.m. in my part of the world, and that brings me to the schedule for this week. So we are continuing with this schedule. It looks like it's quite good for many people in different time zones. These live classes are according to GMAT or Universal UTC time from 12:30 to 13:30 for members, and 14 to 15 o'clock with the all chat class Wednesday to Saturday. Of course, to become a member of this channel, you just need to click the join button on our channel page. I see Carolina is congratulating Kevin. Oh, wow, Kevin. Yeah, let's make a note of that, definitely. So Kevin Bowie, who's a longtime student of our channel, is writing, sir, I just got my IELTS result today, got 8.5 overall and an 8.5 in speaking. We'll email you the test report form and testimonial to your channel if you feel up to it. I would love to have your testimonial, Kevin. In fact, Kevin, you should be really proud of yourself because let me tell you, even if native speakers of English were to sit the IELTS exam today, most of them, I would say most of them, probably about 70% would not score as well as you have. In fact, many of them would probably not even get the 8.5 in the speaking. So that is fantastic. All right. It's great to have you in the class. Congratulations. And yeah, definitely send me that testimonial. You've made my morning, Kevin. That's fantastic. You deserve it. All right. So we've got lots of classes for you this week, all the way to Saturday. And we'll get right into our speaking. This is a speaking class, so make sure to speak and repeat. And you too can get a great score on your IELTS exam. Kevin is a living testament to that. That's fantastic. All right. So the IELTS speaking exam, it happens sometimes on the day of your sit-down test, sometimes the day before, and in rare cases after your sit-down exam. It's about 12 minutes of speaking. You have to be there at least 20 minutes before to register for your test. However, to have that super start to your exam, and I'm wondering, Kevin, if you did this, go to your exam at least 1 hour before your start time and take some speaking questions with you. I actually recommend having them on paper, not just on your phone. And then find other candidates who are waiting for their exam and approach them. Be brave and ask them to practice some speaking with you. They will be happy for it. If somebody says, no, I'm too nervous, I don't want to speak, don't worry about it. Ask somebody else. I promise you that somebody will be very happy to start using their English before they actually get into the test. So definitely go. This is, again, it's a big part of that super start for a Band 9. So go to your exam, your speaking exam, 1 hour before the start time so that you can get comfortable with your surroundings and find some other candidates to practice your speaking with. Okay, this will also help you to build your confidence so that when you meet the actual examiner, you're kind of getting through that nervousness by approaching a couple of strangers at the exam to talk with. Okay. So that's really important for a super start. Tip number 2, I know that nervousness and anxiety is one of the greatest barriers for having that super start, that Band 9 to your exam. 545 Haman is asking, how can we interact with the persons with this pandemic? Simple, just keep your mask on, keep social distance, and practice with the piece of paper that you bring to the exam. There are usually people, Hemant, outside of the exam center because of the pandemic, so they don't allow everybody into the exam center until their registration. So there are usually like 3-4 people. When I did my exam in Budapest in February, there were a few people outside the exam center. They were wearing masks. There was a young man there, about 20 something. I asked him, hey, do you want to practice? He said, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's sit down. There's a bench. We sat down. We practiced for about 20 minutes. He felt great about it. So make sure to do that. Tip number 2, make sure to use English the entire day on your speaking test. The entire day of your speaking test, I should say. Okay, and tip number 3, I know many of you who are regular students know this, but there are newcomers, so I want to remind you of this. When you go into your speaking exam, take a deep deep breath and remember that you're there to do your best. You paid for this exam. The IELTS examiner is there to do a job. It's nothing personal. And what you should be doing is you should visualize that the examiner is your grandfather or grandmother. They love you. They will listen to you. And you have to speak to them loud, clear, and with detail, right? So if you're not speaking loudly and clearly and with detail to your grandpa or your grandma, they might not really understand what you're talking about or might not hear what you're talking about. So make sure that you're really kind of projecting your voice and that you are starting with a lot of detail right off the bat, okay? Which means right away, right off the bat. So let's get into it. Let's get into these introductory questions. This is how the exam starts. So you go in, you register, you have about 20 minutes, go to the washroom, get comfortable, take a few deep breaths, go through your mental notes of what you have to pay attention to get those high band scores. Remember that you have to speak in full sentences using the question. You have to include explanations for your answers and often give examples. So remember all the points that you learn in this class. You should have a mental checklist. We talked about that before, okay? Mohammed says it's really difficult to consider the examiner as my grandfather, but I will consider them as a friend. Mohammed, Taj, I don't actually recommend that. So Mohammed's saying, let's imagine that the examiner is my friend, but Mohammed, I don't recommend that. The reason I don't recommend thinking that the examiner is your friend is because we speak too casually to our friends. So when we talk with our friends, we often speak in shorter sentences. We often assume that they know what we know because we often have friends who have similar interests. So we don't need to give as much detail. So in fact, I recommend not thinking of the examiner as your friend. Is that clear? That's kind of an important one, okay? Speaking with friends is usually not a band 9 level speaking, whatever language you're speaking in, okay? It's usually a much kind of lower, more casual. All right. Rahul, Gautam, nice scores. I see that. Congratulations. If you want, send me a testimonial as well. All right. So here we go, everyone. Again, this is speaking, so speak and repeat, okay? Copy what I say, copy my intonation, my pronunciation, and try to do it without reading the responses, so try to do it purely from listening and repeating, okay? All right, so the examiner will begin your speaking by welcoming you, and they will say, okay, this is the speaking section of the IELTS exam. Please have a seat. This is candidate number 73295. The exam is being conducted in Vancouver at 12 o'clock, and I'm recording this for clerical and marking purposes. May I see your identification? That will be the first question. You have to show your ID for registration, and you have to show it to the examiner. Amanjot says, here's my identification card that I used to register for this exam. Please have a look. Nice, and be nice and fluent with that, okay? Anjali says, yes, sure, here's my passport, which I used to register for the exam. Please have a look. Very good. Rahul says, yes, certainly. Here's my passport that I used to register for the exam a few weeks back. Please take a look. Nice. Okay. Janil says, yes, of course. Here's my passport that I used to register for this exam. Please wait. I can properly show my credentials to you. Yes. Here you go. Really nice visualization, Janil. I actually felt you sitting in front of me, kind of going through those natural steps. Excellent diction, Janil. That's great. So sounding original, sounding like Janil in English. That's perfect. Sammy says, yes, certainly. Here's my passport, which I used to register for this exam through the online portal. Please have a look. Here are my personal details on the last page. Very nice. So again, just showing fluency, showing your comfort with the English language. So yes, of course, I was expecting that you would ask me. Here are my credentials. Please have a look. All right. There's some confidence. So here's another way. There are a million and one different ways to answer these questions. So whenever you're practicing at home, even when you're looking at the same question again and again, challenge yourself to answer in different ways. So work on developing your English diction. It means your unique style of speaking. That will definitely help you for that Superstart, that Band 9. Okay. All right. So here we go. Repeat after me. May I see your identification? Yes, of course. I was expecting that you would ask me. Here are my credentials. Please have a look. Okay. And what is your full name? That will be the next question. And the hidden question is, what should I call you? If you do not give that answer, then they will say that. Okay. So again, with this question, what is your full name? This is where, again, you're not speaking to your friend, you're speaking to another professional. So you need to be more fluent, more professional, more formal for the introduction. Okay. Navbrar says, my name is Husanpreet Kaur. Most of my friends and family members call me by my first name, Husan. So please do the same. Not so you can use the same. So please do the same, Nav. Okay. Or please call me the same. All right. Okay. Kurush says, my first name is Kurush. My surname is Kianfar. Please just call me by my given name, which is Kurush. Okay. Good. Let's see. Jainil says, my full name is Jainil Gabani. Please just call me Jay for short. I'm used to it from my peers. I would say from my peers instead of by my peers, Jainil. Excellent. So your peers call you Jay. All right. Good. Laryint says, my full name is Larimavia, but I'd prefer to be called by my nickname, Mavia. Okay, great. So one name only, no two names. That's interesting. I've seen it before. Reba says, my given name is Reba and my... Okay, good. Yeah, so again, you don't have to overcomplicate, students, when you go to your exam. You don't have to be super complex, but definitely be fluent. Okay, that's really, really important. So my given name is Norman, and my surname is Sampson. Please just call me Norm for short. It's what I'm used to being called by my friends and family. All right. So here we go. Repeat after me. What is your full name? My given name is Norman and my surname is Sampson. Please just call me Norm for short. It's what I'm used to being called by my friends and family. So notice right away when I'm talking about this Band 9 Superstart, even with these simple introductory questions, I want to show the examiner that I have a lot of comfort with not only vocabulary but range of grammar use. And I can even do that just by introducing my name. So here I give my first name or given name. Here I give my surname or family name. And then I explain to the examiner to call me Norm for short. And again, explanation. So when you give your nickname or the short version of your name, by giving an explanation, you're already reminding yourself that you really have to focus on explanations. This is a stranger that you're talking to. They do not know anything about you, or they know very little about you. So you want to explain your concepts, even such a concept as your nickname, okay? So it's what I'm used to being called, not being. Sorry, let's erase that. It's my brain overworking. So it's what I'm used to being called. Look at that nice grammar there of the progressive form, okay, with the used to. So by my friends and family, all right? So show that progression of grammar level early on, all right? And then you'll have a few more kind of warm-up questions to make you feel comfortable. And remember that. So these introductory, they're called icebreaker questions. They're there to make you feel comfortable, okay? A very, very common one that you will hear, I heard it in my exam, is do you work or study? So that's a very typical question because you're doing one or the other or both, okay? So do you work or study? Have a nice answer for this one. Amanda, I'm using being in the previous answer because it's something that happens continuously. So people continuously call me by my nickname Norm, okay? So that's why I use the continuous. That's a natural way to express this idea, all right? Okay, Janelle says, I both work and study. I've been working as a technical illustrator at Expert Global for the last 2 years and studying English for this exam so that I can continue my master's studies in Canada. Really nice fluency, Janelle, and you're using that correlative conjunction, both and, so both work and study, emphasizing that you're busy with both activities. That's really nice. Okay. Arda says, I'm a student at Kartal Anatolian High School. I have been studying for 11 years. I will graduate 5 years from now. Okay, Arda, a little bit unclear. So good use of quantitative language and numbers. I commend you for that. However, a little bit unclear what you're actually telling me. So are you graduating high school in 5 years? Or are you graduating college or university? So maybe give me a little bit more clarity there on what you mean by you will graduate in 5 years, okay? Clarity is extremely important, students, because in the IELTS speaking, they're not simply marking you on your English only, but they're marking you on your communication, okay? Technically, I guess we could say that the IELTS speaking exam is an exam of your level of use for the English language and your ability to communicate using the English language. So communication is key. All right, Devansh says, recently I have completed my graduation in computer science. All right, Devansh, let's start that again. That does not sound natural. It sounds a bit awkward. Graduating is a verb, Devansh. So recently I have graduated in computer science, not completed. You don't complete your graduation, you graduate. That is synonymous, okay? So recently I have graduated in computer science, and now I'm planning to study my master's in Canada. So Devansh, be really careful with unnecessary words, okay? Wordiness and awkward use of words is going to take from your coherence score for your overall band. So be really careful, okay? Sammy says, at present, I both work as a bank manager and study for this IELTS exam. I've been doing this for the past 6 months so that I can immigrate to Canada. Okay, Sammy, careful with your verb agreements. So you both work and study, or I'm both working as a bank manager and studying for this IELTS exam. So just like in writing, in good spoken or verbal communication, you want to have that verb agreement, Sammy. So if it's ing for the first verb, definitely ing for the second, especially when using a correlative conjunction like both and. Okay? So for all of you grammar buffs out there, that's what you want to do. All right? Okay. Snech says, I have just completed my engineering and mechanical stream, and further on, I'm looking for higher education and quality education at the moment. So I'm studying IELTS, which will make me eligible for many universities around the world, right? So currently, I am both working as a teller at a bank, and I'm completing my 4th year of business studies at the University of British Columbia. Once I've graduated, I plan to continue my studies in the US and hope to get a higher level executive position at a reputable bank. Okay. So there's my answer. Again, nice fluency, showing range of grammar. So this is that super start to that band 9, right? So you really have to show fluency, range of grammar, vocabulary, coherence, all of that right from the beginning. Here we go. Repeat after me. Do you work or study? Practice questions, not just answers, students, so questions as well. Currently, I am both working as a teller at a bank and I'm completing my 4th year of business studies at the University of British Columbia. Once I've graduated, I plan to continue my learning in the US and hope to get a higher level executive position at a reputable bank. Okay. So here, I replaced the word studies because I've used it already here. So studies, studies. I don't want to be redundant or repetitive in my speech. I want to paraphrase as much as possible. So studies, then learning. Sandeep is asking, can we use idioms or phrasal verbs? I'm guessing, Sandeep, is what you're asking. Can we use idioms or phrasal verbs or not? Sandeep, I highly recommend using some simple idioms. Phrasal verbs are considered idiomatic language as well. Definitely do that. Okay. All right. So let's change this word to learning. Okay, and then the next question, again, a very common one for these icebreakers, is what do you like to do in your leisure time? So what do you like to do in your leisure time? What do you like to do in your free time? What do you like to do in your spare time? What are your hobbies? These are all kind of synonymous questions. Okay. All right. Janiel says, well, in my spare time, I love to both listen to songs and cook different worldly cuisines because these activities help me to rejuvenate from my relentless 8 hours a day, 40-hour work week. Last night I listened to Bashkar Bo's Detective Podcast on Spotify. Really nice answer, Jainil. Nice example given. This is definitely one of those questions where you can give an example. And I did make a couple corrections, Jainil, so pay attention to that. Okay? All right. Ferdovs has a question. Ferdovs is asking, 3 days before I took my speaking exam, the examiner asked me questions. She increased the pace, and at the end, she spoke much quicker. Is it okay? Interesting question, Ferdovs. Your examiner technically shouldn't be doing that. She might have been a little bit newer to the profession. She should be using a natural speed from start to finish. It shouldn't be slower or faster. Again, remember, students, that these IELTS examiners are human. Some of them started their work yesterday. Some of them have been doing this for years. They are instructed and trained regularly, of course, before starting their jobs, but experience and practice does make these examiners better and better at their jobs as well. For Dobbs, yeah, no, the examiner honestly should not be doing that. My examiner, when I did the exam in Budapest, did not do that. They were just like me, asking questions at their normal, comfortable diction as they would speak to a native speaker. Because, again, for Dobbs, the IELTS is not an ESL exam. It's not an English as a second language exam. It's an English proficiency exam, which means it doesn't matter if somebody's a native speaker or a non-native speaker. They're using English in its natural form, meaning natural speed, natural vocabulary and grammar. So no, they shouldn't be doing that. Okay? So that's a unique situation, right? Maybe it was that person's morning for Dobbs. They haven't had their coffee, and it took them a little bit of time to start speaking at their natural speed. Okay? All right. So Shreyas is responding to this question, what do you like to do in your leisure time? Shreyas is saying, well, I have plethora of things to do, but these days I'm preparing for IELTS exam as it is the most priority for me. Okay, Shreyas, couple of important corrections. Use the question in your answer. In my spare time, I like to. So use the question. It makes it much clearer and more fluent, okay? Secondly, using the word plethora just means many. It's not that special. A lot of people are using it these days. And plethora of things. What things? You haven't told me much. You've told me you do a lot, but you haven't really told me what you actually do, okay? So, students, just another tip, be specific, okay? So, this is quite important, okay? I still see this a lot. Avoid using the word things in your speaking and writing, as it has zero value for your audience. You should always stop and replace the word with a more specific noun. Okay, it's very, very important. Okay, these slight and important adjustments can make a huge difference to your overall band score. So what do you like to do in your leisure time? Well, there are plenty of things. Oh, no, not things. Plenty of activities that I enjoy in my spare time. Specifically, such as playing basketball, reading a book, going for a run, and hanging out with my family. These activities, here I'm giving my explanation, okay? So answer with detail, explanation. So these activities help me to stay fit, both physically and emotionally. Just yesterday I went an enjoyable ride with my daughter. Okay. So that would be considered a full, fluent, specific, coherent answer. All right. That's what you want to pay attention to. Let me make a slight adjustment here so that you have some more contrast there. Okay. So again, repeat after me. What do you like to do in your leisure time? Well, there are plenty of activities that I enjoy in my spare time, such as playing basketball, reading a book, going for a run, and hanging out with my family. These activities help me to stay fit, both physically and emotionally. Just yesterday, I went for an enjoyable bike ride with my daughter. Okay. So now that you are through the warm-ups, you can get into the actual questions themselves, okay? She's just saying that my voice is cracking, so give me 1 second. I'm going to try to adjust that, okay? All right. And meanwhile, you can start thinking about the topic of part 1. Okay, so if my voice is still crackling, let me know. Sometimes it's YouTube, sometimes it can be the equipment. It's hard to tell, but I will do my best. Mr. 420, I did not see your comment, but keep commenting and I will try to catch it, okay? With 324 people in the class, as you can imagine, it's challenging to catch everybody's comments, but I do my best. All right. So here we go, part 1. The examiner will introduce some kind of general topic, okay? So they will say something like, let's talk about television. Okay, all right, let's talk about television. First question. How often do you watch TV? It's very common to have this as your first question, okay? So how often do you watch TV? Kevin says, these days I only watch the telly a few times a year. Okay, let me start that one more time, Kevin. So these days, I only watch the telly a few times a year, chiefly because I have my internet-enabled phone, which is around-the-clock updates and is a perfect substitute. In fact, I usually listen to YouTube streaming services while being on the move, rather than sitting fixed in front of the screen. Nice use of the word telly. It's a very British kind of slang for television. Okay, screen is good as well. All right, good. Binod says, well, I frequently watch television, especially in the evening time. Because I can enjoy it at that moment when nobody is at home. Aside from that, I watch movies and news channels. Okay, it's not aside because it's not separate from what you're doing, Bernard. So not besides that. You should say, I watch movies and the news channel. So just go into that further explanation, okay? And then, Bernard, why not throw an example in there, right? Like yesterday, I watched an action movie for 2 hours, okay? So especially in part 1, questions are personal. Giving personal examples is a great idea. We'll have a new HD video coming out later in the week about these examples that you have to include. So make sure to check the channel for that. All right, let's see. So Amanjot says, well, I spend about 3 hours in a 24-hour day watching television. I watch TV for 2 hours in the afternoon, and at nighttime, I watch it for about an hour with my family. Okay, nice use of quantitative language. I'm happy to see that more and more students are starting to implement this quantitative language, numbers. Okay, very good. All right. Nico says, I do it regularly. I can say that most of the time I spend watching the news in the morning and checking the current weather. Okay, all right. Good, good. Sanjay says, due to my hectic schedule, I don't get enough time to watch TV, but because of modern technology, I usually watch television on my mobile phone rather than on the big box at home. Okay, sure, yeah. So, well, these days, as you can see, well is part of my diction. That's why I often start with that. So, well, these days, I rarely watch the tube or the telly, as Kevin said. So, well, these days I rarely watch the telly because I don't have much time, and I prefer to watch movies on video streaming services like Netflix. I would say that I watch TV maybe once a month when it's on at my friends' or parents' house. The last time I remember watching a program was football, about 3 months ago at my friend Dave's house. All right. So there is my answer. Again, clear answer, explanation. And when I start talking about Netflix, I don't go off topic and start talking about the internet and streaming options, but I stay with the television. It's really, really important to stay on topic. Here we go. How often do you watch TV? Well, these days I rarely watch because I don't have much time and I prefer to watch movies on video streaming services like Netflix. I would say that I watch TV maybe once a month when it's on at my friend's or parents' house. The last time I remember watching a program was football about 3 months ago at my friend Dave's house. What is your favorite TV show and why? Okay, so what is your favorite TV show and why? Now, just a quick tip here, whatever the topic is that the examiner is introducing to you, make sure not to shut it down, like I never watch TV, okay? That doesn't work, all right? You have to stay away from superlatives, okay? So like always or never, stay away from those words, all right? Okay. So, Benod, please only put your answers into the chat one time. And this goes for everybody. Otherwise, I will ignore them because then our chat gets really spammy and it's hard for everyone to communicate. So just once, everyone, okay? Just put your answers once into the chat, all right? Isla says, Teen Wolf is definitely my favorite TV show. Styles is definitely my favorite character in this amazing show. And of course, I also love Stydia. Here's a description of this show. Okay, Isla, very good. Very nice, fluent answer. I can tell that it's original and you're really describing what you like. Kevin says, my all-time favorite TV program is Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? which is a quiz show aired on ABC at 8 p.m. every Tuesday. Aside from the ecstasy of winning a fortune if a person gets 15 consecutive questions correct, I find the knowledge shared within the show super eye-opening. Okay, good, yeah. And there's lots of strategy with the lifelines, calling a friend or getting the audience vote. Kim Balasa says, I'm a volleyball player and I used to watch volleyball games on TV. I enjoyed watching it as if I was playing on the court. I'm a sporty person, and so I prefer to watch these sports programs with my friends. Okay, Kim, stay on topic. Great idea. Just make sure to stay on topic, okay? Don't go off topic and start talking about sports when the topic is television, right? Okay. So my all-time favorite TV program is The Simpsons, which in fact is an animation for teens and adults about a typical American family. It is a comedy, and whenever I watch it, I just can't stop laughing. All right. So here we go. Here's my answer. Repeat after me. What is your favorite TV show and why? My all-time favorite TV program is The Simpsons, which is which in fact is an animation for teens and adults about a typical American family. It is a comedy, and whenever I watch it, I just can't stop laughing. So again, lots of explanation, answer, explanation, and often including an example. Students sometimes ask me, like, yesterday I did that, or just the other day. I would say about 70% of the time, more is better than less, okay, especially when you're fluent. Okay, here we go. Next question. Where in the house do you keep your TV? Again, think of explanation, not just the answer, okay? So where in the house do you keep your TV? And I'm sure most of us have a television in the house, okay? Arun, to attain knowledge or gain knowledge? They're the same. You can use both. You can attain knowledge from watching documentaries, or you can gain knowledge from watching documentaries. Attain really means to get it, to like really get it. Gain means to pick it up. Okay? Sammy says, in my house, the TV is kept between the living room and the dining hall so that I can watch it from both places easily. Yesterday, all of my family gathered watching the Big Boss program. Good. Benad, actually, I prefer to keep the television in my bedroom because I can watch it at any time, and I can watch it without being bothered by anyone else. Furthermore, it's easy and convenient. Okay, Benad, good. Maud says, well, that's an interesting question. All the time I watch the kids channel, so I don't want to disturb my family. That's why I prefer keeping the TV in my private bedroom. Okay, Maud, it's not bad. However, at that in your answer, you have the answer at the end of your response. For the IELTS students, it's usually better to have your answer at the beginning of the response, okay? So answer, explain, then example. There are other ways to do it, but for the IELTS with the examiner, you're likely to do better, again, for that Band 9 Superstart, if you have your answers at the beginning, then your explanation, then your example, okay? There are other ways to do it, but I don't recommend it for the IELTS exams, okay? So, well, let's not start with well again. So I have three different TVs in my home. I keep the biggest one in my living room so that I can enjoy movies together with my family. I have a smaller one in the bedroom to watch the evening news before going to bed. And I have a third tiny TV in my garage that I use to watch do it yourself videos when I'm either fixing or making objects or items in my spare time. All right, so overboard on that, but hey, that works, okay? Original and clear, lots of fluency. Repeat after me. Where in the house do you keep your TV? I have three different TVs in my home. I keep the biggest one in my living room so that I can enjoy movies together with my family. I have a smaller one in the bedroom to watch the evening news before going to bed. And I have a third tiny 30-inch TV in my garage that I use to watch do-it-yourself videos when I'm either fixing or making items in my spare time. Okay? So a workshop television. Okay, let's take one more. So here we go. Is it healthy for children to watch TV? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. So is it healthy for children to watch TV? Okay. Lucky Parek says, well, I think that TV is healthy for a child if it is limited. If a child is watching the TV at a good distance and maintains a short duration of time, like maximum 1 hour, it can be beneficial, especially with educational programs. I let my daughter watch nature shows on National Geographic. Okay, Lucky, that was good. I added a little bit and I made some corrections, so pay attention to that. Okay. All right. Kevin says, no, it might seem extreme, but I think exposure to TV does young viewers a disservice, notwithstanding the fun and good laughs that the young may have tuning into their favorite TV show. Hours of being glued to the screens strains their eyes, not to mention the antisocial behaviors that they might develop by partaking in TV time instead of sports or other creative pastimes. All right, Kevin, very good. I made a couple of corrections there as well. Amanjot says, I think it's good for children to watch it for 1 to 2 hours, but the limit should not exceed this. Because children also watch their mobile phones, so together too much screen time can be detrimental to their development. Okay, Amanjot, good. I added a little bit there as well to enhance the response. Fukthan Maivo says, it kind of depends on the way kids watch television. If their screen time is limited and the content is well chosen, it could be fruitful for their enjoyment and development. However, too much TV time and a poor choice of programs like violent TV shows could be negative. Yeah, so Fukthan, you'd want to finish that sentence, okay? You want to finish that sentence because you say that it depends and you only give one side of that equation, right? So I think that a limited amount of TV time, 3 to 4 times each week, say no more than 45 minutes per occasion, could benefit children, especially if they are watching educational programming, such as nature documentaries on Discovery Channel. I let my daughter watch such a program on Tuesdays and Thursdays called Tiny Planet. Okay. So here we go. By the way, don't search for that program. I'm just making it up. Here we go. Is it healthy for children to watch TV? I think that a limited amount of TV time, 3 to 4 times each week, say no more than 45 minutes per occasion, could benefit children, especially if they are watching educational programming, such as nature documentaries on the Discovery Channel. I let my daughter watch such a program on Tuesdays and Thursdays called Tiny Planet. Okay. So that would be a sufficient answer there. We have a couple more questions here, but I'm out of time. So I highly recommend practicing these and some other questions in the live speaking with other students at aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com. So have TV shows changed since you were a child? If you could make a TV show, what would it be? That's kind of a fun question. Try that one. Again, we have more classes coming up tomorrow, so a little bit earlier for members. We will have reading, and then we will have a task 2 writing class for everyone tomorrow at this time. Remember, for a Band 9 super start to your speaking, be confident, speak in full, fluent, clear, and precise sentences. You're very, very welcome. Carolina, thank you for moderating our chat. That's lots of help. Raghav, you're very, very welcome. And again, everybody, aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com. You saw those are our websites. That's where you can get access to all of our HD video content, practice exams, and more. Click that big red button to join our premium package. It is a one-time payment for lifetime access, so it's well worth it. And I hope to see all of you tomorrow for some reading and task 2 writing. I'm Adrian, and I'm signing out from beautiful Victoria on the west coast of Canada. I will see you all tomorrow. Much love to everyone. Bye for now.